Thank you for joining us. My name is Austin Culp. I'm the Director of Sales at InflowCX. Really excited to talk today about web messaging and the future of digital. We've got a few upcoming webinars as well. 725, Unlocking Customer Experience Excellence. This is going to be around the value of InflowCX managed services, specific to contact center and unified communications technology. And then on 727, we've got a fireside chat on exploring the future of contact centers and chat GPT. So really good stuff. Register for those if you have not yet. What we're going to go through today is just a very quick high-level overview of who InflowCX is, and then I'll pass it over to my colleague, Sam Karras, one of our extraordinary solutions engineers, to talk through web messaging and the future of digital. Plenty of time for Q&A at the end, but if you do have any questions and don't want to forget them, just go ahead and feel free to shoot those in the chat and we can answer them as we go. So very quickly, InflowCX is a consulting, deployment, and optimization firm that helps organizations with their customer engagement technology and strategy. We provide a vendor-neutral approach to CX technology evaluations, BPO and labor strategies, as well as operational effectiveness. We really specialize in helping customers make data-driven decisions utilizing return on investment or total cost of ownership and business case modeling. Our expertise spans through core CCaaS as well as anything CCaaS adjacent. So think automation, AI, CX, unified communications, workforce optimizations, business process outsourcing, and everything that goes into the customer and or agent experience. On top of the technology and consultancy services that we have, we also provide very high touch, white glove implementation and managed services to make sure that when your organization makes a technology decision, you're in the absolute most that you possibly can out of that. We work with a lot of great customers. Because we focus just on contact center, customer experience, and unified communications, we can really take that knowledge and lessons that we learn with organizations and apply those to all shapes and sizes of companies and all types of verticals. So whether you're a tech startup or a proven finance and insurance Fortune 500 company, we've got solutions and customers just like you that we've helped before, most likely. This is just a sampling of some of our technology partners. As I mentioned, we work with the best in the business. So on the contact center side, Genesys, Five9, NiceCX1, Zoom, RingCentral, TalkDesk, Sprinklr. On the UCaaS side, plenty of industry leaders over there. And then again, the CX ecosystem. This is growing more and more every day. It's a very complex and ever-changing space. So if you have any questions or need some guidance or just want to have a conversation around your customer experience strategy, please feel free to contact us and reach out. Without further ado, I will pass it over to Sam now to talk through web messaging and the future of digital.
Very good. Thank you so much, Austin. Appreciate it. So as Austin mentioned, my name is Sam Karras. I'm a solutions engineer here at InflowCX. I will go ahead and share my screen. Great. So while voice continues to be a critical component of contact centers, many companies are looking for other ways to allow their customers to communicate with them, right, on the go at their convenience. And as we know, Genesys Cloud CX is a full omni-channel platform. So what I'd like to do today is go over the different interaction types that are available natively within the platform. So we'll touch a little bit on email, social, SMS, but for the majority of the presentation, I'd like to focus on their newest media type, web messaging. So previously, they were doing a lot of web chat, which is what it was referred to in the Genesys Cloud platform. That certainly isn't end of life, but at this moment, every R&D that they're doing going forward will be put into the web messaging platform itself. So if you're using web chat today, I certainly think it's worth checking out web messaging, and we can certainly provide some details afterwards to walk through for documentation purposes. Okay. Great. So with that, I will go ahead and kick over my interactions tab right here. You can see I've already got some interactions waiting for me in the platform itself. I've got a Facebook Messenger coming in. I've got an email, I've got an SMS. Again, this is just to highlight the full blended queue platform of Genesys Cloud CX, right? Because while you can certainly have voice-only agents, email-only agents, the cloud platform does allow you to have those blended queues at the same time, meaning I can have agents that take every interaction type within the platform at the same time. And it doesn't have to be exclusively one or the other. Queues allow each individual in that queue to have those different types of of utilization within the platform, right? Messenger itself, so you see Facebook Messenger right here. We can also do Twitter, WhatsApp natively to the platform from a social aspect. All right. As you can see here, I can certainly click from interaction type to interaction type. I don't have to complete one to move on to the other. That way, if there's a delay, I'm working on an email, but I have a prioritized interaction come in, I can move over to that and then jump back to the email at my convenience at that point. So I can kind of click around from interaction to interaction. Moving over to the SMS right here, you see there is kind of a tad bit of self-service, but we'll dive further into that from the web messaging side. So when it comes to SMS, I can do direct routing, where it simply just goes directly to my agent. But if I want to infuse a little bit of self-service along the way, see if I can handle a little bit from the bot perspective before escalating to a live agent, I can do that as well. So you can see right here, my customers reaching out to the agent here. They immediately got a response back that they were talking to a digital assistant. My customer go ahead and directly escalates by typing agent, pushes to that live agent, and they continue on with the conversation right here. Now, when it comes to messaging itself within the cloud platform, what's nice is when I take over as a live agent, you can see right here when I type out to the customer, the little profile picture changes right here from the robot to my own personal profile picture. This isn't necessarily as helpful to me as the agent because I know I'm not the robot, right? I know who I am in this point. But what's great is if you do any type of interaction transfer along the way, when it goes to agent 2, agent 3, different queues, different departments, they're going to understand the different breaks in those conversations. What information did the bot push to your customer? What did agent 1 say? What did agent 2 say? And so on. And then thinking even further down the road, when we get to the quality side of the interaction, when we do evaluations on the back end, your quality evaluators can also look at these conversations and understand, okay, what did the bot say? Was it correct? Does it need fine tuning? What did agent 1 say? What did agent 2 say? That way, when we're filling out evaluations or talking about coaching modules, we understand who to kind of pair those off to as part of the conversation. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the Inflow website. And we'll go ahead and start a web messaging interaction. So with Web Messenger, there's a couple ways to kick off an interaction. And apologies, Kyle, I'm going to close you out right here before you pop up. And I'm going to kick off Web Messenger on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Now, as I mentioned, there's a couple ways to kind of kick this off, right? It's kind of a series of, do we want an authenticated or unauthenticated user? So if you do have a need for authentication before we present the web messaging to them, you can have that set up. That way, if we're talking about a maybe a financial vertical or a healthcare vertical, and you prefer they log into a portal before ever being offered the web message, it can be set up that way, or it can just be offered to every customer that comes onto the website as well. So when I kick off my web messenger here in the bottom left, the first thing you're going to see here at the bottom is what are you looking for, right? And this is customizable as well. The look, the feel, the logo, the colors, all very personalized for the customer that's using it. And then the interface at the same time. So what I have here embedded at the bottom is the what are you looking for tool. So essentially this gives me a direct shot into the knowledge base on the back end. That way, if I want to free type for a specific article or a specific question that I might have, I can begin to type that out. Or if I just click onto it and pause for a moment, it'll actually bring up the knowledge base on the back end that'll be put out by category. So if I'm in the financial vertical, it'll parse it out by each category individually that I can now click through as the customer and look for that specific article that I might need. So let's just say I'm looking for insurance plans that cover my prescription. I can find that right here, and great, I've got the information I need to move on, and I get that little bit of FAQ self-service. But if I do have the need for more of a guided conversation or something that may be more multiple queries that lead to the right answer, right? So I can go ahead and start the message us right here. And when it does that, the bot will then reach out and greet me at this point. So here's where we're kind of talking to the differences of am I authenticated versus unauthenticated? We can also do some tie-ins to some CRMs in the back end, right? So once it understands my unique identifier, maybe it's an account ID, maybe it's an email address, it can do that data dip into the back end and then already have that information ready to go that I can then kind of walk through multiple use cases. Or if I am a brand new user or someone that hasn't interacted in the past, I may just look for something like here to kind of personalize it a bit and ask who I'm talking to at this point or who the bot's speaking to. All right. You can also see you can humanize your bots a little bit if you want that little extra level of touch. You can see right here, I'm talking to TempBot here. That's his alias. He's got a little profile picture as well, just so it feels a little more conversational with the bot that I'm talking to in the moment. And then you can see right here, so earlier I was kind of free typing certain use cases or questions that I might have, but now this is more of a guided path, right? Understanding a company's most frequent use cases and levels of self-service they want to provide to their customers. So now I see a menu of choices right here. So instead of me kind of guessing what this bot may be capable of or what I want to free type, I can take a look at this menu and kind of click along through that process and have that guided path of interactions. Okay, so maybe I'm new to Inflow. I've just discovered them. I want to know a little more about them and what they offer. So here's a little brief paragraph. Great, this is their story. It's got an embedded link as well. That way, if I want to learn more, I can click there and it can push me to a different part of the website. Now, what's also nice is I don't have to go back to that tab or that window to continue the conversation with the bot. It's going to travel with me along the way, and it's going to stay with me for my whole journey. That way, as I do kind of push and pull around the website, I don't have to consistently go back and try to find which tab I had open with the bot. Again, it's traveling along with me throughout that process. And it's always working on a loop as well. So that way, if I do kind of come to the end of this general conversation, it's multi-intent. So I can kind of accomplish multiple things within this single session with the bot. So let's say, yes, I do have another question. Right, maybe I've got some questions now with contact center solutions. I know that Genesys is probably the platform I'm most interested in. Now I'd like to go ahead and request a demo. Once it does that, it's looking for one more piece to kind of gather some information on. It wants to know what's the best way to kind of sync up with me afterwards. That way, if we have some follow-up information, I'm going to go ahead and choose email right here. Again, at this moment, I'm an unauthenticated user. So we are using the bot to kind of do a little bit of information gathering along the way in a more conversational manner. Instead of just kind of providing me with a form, say, hey, can you fill out this form? That way we can leverage it. Instead, it's kind of a back and forth where it can kind of conveniently at the right time ask that bit of information that then it can use going forward, right? We'll put an email right there. And let's go ahead and connect me to a live agent. So here comes the interaction here on the left-hand side. I'll go ahead and populate it right there. Again, I'm an unauthenticated user at this point. Even though we did do a little bit of information gathering in this part, it still doesn't know who I am via the CRM or anything like that. We haven't done any type of unique identifiers. So it sees me as kind of a no-name new customer at this point. Okay, so if I am a new customer, great. We can start to build out their account from there. But let's say now, for example, we do know who this customer is. We've talked to Gavin here in the past, and maybe he was coming in from a new device, or he used a different a name or email when he put it into the platform here. We do want to tie this interaction right here to all the previous interactions we've had with him in the past. So I can just go ahead and search for him right here in my directory. I'll type out his name. I can find him, and great, there he is. He is in our system. So I can select that contact. And when I do, you can see now it's updated to Gavin Berkman here on the left-hand side. And great, I've also got a Facebook Messenger going with him as well. So we can take what was kind of that unauthenticated user, understand who they are, and now pair them to their contact record. So now I have their full interaction history. This one isn't kind of a one-off anymore. It's part of a full picture I have of Gavin's entire journey with us as a company. Okay. And if I need to view those previous interactions I've had with him, I can click this button right here and it's going to pop open all the previous interactions we've had with him over the past year. So whether it's an email, a phone call, a Facebook message, I have that view to kind of jump in and review that. That way, if he references something from the past, he says, hey, I was messaging last week. I can't remember the agent I spoke to, but this is the information they provided me with. If it's maybe conflicting with what I'm saying today, I can click into one of these specific interactions, get the details on the back end, maybe read through the transcription, see who we spoke to, if I need to transfer back over to that agent, whatever it may be, it gives me that line of sight into all those previous interactions as well. Now, as I do start to take over this conversation, we'll go ahead and jump back over to the website itself. And you can also see from an alias standpoint, what we had earlier with the bot, you can also provide aliases for your agent as well. That way, if you feel more comfortable, if they kind of give a fake name, a fake icon, whatever it may be, just so they can kind of distance themselves from providing their real name standpoint, but still humanizing the conversation, your agent can go ahead and have those aliases that are built into the platform. Now, what you didn't see here, since I routed directly to a live agent, was if there was a wait time, right? So just like voice, there's still that in-queue process that takes place with a digital interaction, meaning if I type agent and I just sit here and I don't know if an agent received that or not, instead we can provide the information like you are the third person in the queue. You have an estimated wait time of 20 seconds. So that way I have that visibility into the contact center just like I would voice. So I'm not just waiting here wondering if something's broke or if anybody actually received it from the contact center side. I get those in-queue metrics as well. All right. Not only that, I can do some other pieces from the web message tool that I couldn't do previously with web chat. I could do some attachments. That way, if I want to add any pictures to that process, I go ahead and grab the picture right here on the web page, and we'll paste it right in. That way, if I've got something of value to put into the web messenger tool, I can do that right here. I'm on a live Zoom call, so it's taking a little extra time to upload at this moment. Go ahead, there we go. We'll push it through. So there we go. I can go ahead and add some attachments if they're relevant to the conversation, and that'll push right through to my agent at the same time. Right? In addition, I can also offer a co-browse as an agent. That way, if it's convenient for me to see the actual screen of my user on the other side, maybe they're walking through filling out a form, they're doing an ordering process, they need a little bit of help from my end as an agent, I can do that as well. I can offer the start co-browse right here. On their end, they're going to get a little notification of whether or not they want to accept or decline that co-browse. And if they accept, of course, now from an agent standpoint, I can start to view their screen and help guide them through that path, even to take control and kind of click some buttons for them along the way, should they want me to do that in that process. Right. And then for security purposes, you can also have some CSS masking built into the co-browse, meaning that way if I'm walking them through something like a purchase process, I'm not visibly seeing their credit card numbers or any personal information that we don't want to capture, especially if we're doing screen recording, because we don't want to hold that information on the back end and store it. That could put us in any type of violation, right? So some masking that can take place, and then you would kind of map it to those certain fields that you want to be blurred out from an agent standpoint. All right. And another big difference here from web messaging to web chat is the fact that this is an asynchronous conversation, meaning the moment I kind of end this conversation in the moment, I can always come back to it if I need to. So let's say, for example, I had a great conversation with an agent. The next day I come back to this and I realize, oh, I forgot what the agent told me, but I don't want to reconnect with them. It can actually save my conversation history. So I can just open this up, scroll back through and see exactly what the agent had told me about the topic. So I can kind of reuse that information without connecting to them. But at the same time, if I want to keep that window open as a contact center, so when this person does reach back out, they get directly lined in with this agent, we can do that as well. So it's really an understanding of, when do you want a new conversation to kick off? Is it a minute after this conversation ends? Is it 24 hours, 72 hours? That's what we call a threading timeline, and it's really configurable on your end of at what point you want to kind of call this the end of the conversation. So that way, if they do start to chat again, they go through that in-queue process again, potentially going to the same agent, but also potentially going to a new agent as well and kicking off a new conversation. Like, jumping back over here to my agent side, as I gather this information, it's going to look very similar to my SMS that I showed you previously. When we go from the self-service to the agent, the profile picture changes again, so we understand who's speaking in this conversation if we're using that information kind of down the road or evaluating on the back end. But at the same time, I also have some additional insights into this user and what their journey's been like from us at a customer level. So as I open up Gavin's previous timeline here, not only do I get his interactions, I get every time he's been on the website, right? So I can jump in right here. I can see exactly his interaction history on the web page itself, the buttons that he's clicked on, the things that he's looked at, and I get kind of that, again, that holistic view of how we're interacting with him, not only from a contact center interaction standpoint, but how are they utilizing our website? What pages are they viewing? What things are they clicking? If it's retail, what are they purchasing? If they're on, a lawyer website, what types of forms are they filling out, or do they maybe need help with? Okay. But just based upon their IP, we can also gather some additional metrics as well to be used, maybe not necessarily in an interaction, but also how we're building out our website and how we're proactively reaching out to our customers. For example, here on the bottom right, you can see I'm actually located here in Lowell, Indiana. You can see I'm on a desktop versus mobile. I'm on Windows versus Mac. I'm on Chrome here at the moment, and it actually shows the actual version of Chrome that I'm using. So if I was on Safari, if I was on Firefox, we're gathering all that information on the back end. Now, is it relevant to this specific conversation I'm having with the agent? Maybe, maybe not. But this is also available to your administrators. That way, if it helps them kind of provide things on the back end of who's using your website and how they're using their website, or if you're using predictive engagement to offer certain solutions or offers to your customers that are on the web page. This gives you, again, more insight into who's consuming the web page and how they're consuming it as well. All right, so scripting tool is also something that's very helpful for an agent if they're doing some information gathering. Earlier, what we didn't do was we didn't data dip into a CRM. We didn't authenticate, but what I did do is I asked for their name and I asked for their email. So that way, if they are a new customer, I've already got that information now filled out for me in the script. I just have some other pieces I have to gather to maybe create a new account for them. So I can go ahead and kind of capture any information that's asked for in the web message tool, and then embed it right here into the script if it can help me in this conversation, or just begin that process of building out a new account for them. So leveraging scripting at the same time with the web message tool. All right, like every other previous interaction type, we still have our canned responses here, that internal knowledge base, but web messaging also brings in agent assist. So now we're using speech and text analytics to kind of take a look at the key words and phrases that are being used in the conversation, and then proactively provide our agents with information that may help guide them through that conversation. Let's say, for example, we're on a financial website, right? And this customer is trying to get an idea of, let's see, cancel my debit card. So me as an agent now, instead of having to kind of jump into canned responses or manually type out a knowledge base article to help me, just based on keywords and phrases, the AI is now pushing knowledge base articles to me that it thinks are relevant to the conversation based upon that context of keywords and phrases. So I'd say, great, yeah, this is exactly what I need. Instead of typing this out, I can copy it directly in the chat. And if I want to make some edits to it, I certainly can. But at the same time, if it's ready to go, I can just go ahead and push it out quickly to the customer now. So they don't have that delay of me kind of searching through a back end, a knowledge base, typing keywords and phrases myself, trying to find that right article. Instead, the AI is just pushing it to me. And again, just based upon those speech and text analytics, and then grading it as one feedback. So I say, yes, that's the right one. I appreciate it. And then I'll go into, again, every tool possible to help fine tune that AI. So that way the agents in the future, also based upon keywords and phrases, are getting the right articles. All right. Last thing I'll point out here from a digital perspective. So we talked about a lot of inbound digital interactions today, but with the Genesys Cloud CX platform, it also offers outbound digital engagements with email and SMS. So that way, if you do have some outbound campaigns that you're creating with your customers, you're not limited to voice only. And not only that, it can cross-channel. Meaning, let's say, for example, that first line of contact is voice, but they don't answer voice. You prefer to follow up with an SMS or an email. We can now cross-channel with outbound, starting with one and then progressively moving over to the other based upon kind of how that outbound campaign is playing out. Right? So no longer limited to voice, email and SMS are also now native to the platform from an outbound perspective. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pause there. Austin, any questions in the chat at this point?
At this point, there are not any. Yeah, there are not any questions at this point, but you can give it a few minutes, see if anybody does have any they're saving for the end.
Okay, great. So web messaging, the way it's priced out, a little different than web chat as well. So it kind of looks at turns within the bot flow itself. We won't walk to the back end today and kind of walk through a bot flow, but if we do have people on the call that would love to see how this is built from a digital bot flow perspective, happy to do that. Jump in the architect tool and build some of these out with you so you get a good understanding of how it's used. But just like anything else with web message, you've got those group evaluations or evaluation groups to kind of understand the schedule itself. So if you needed to interact a certain way based upon the time of day, based upon your open hours, your close hours, if you have agents available, if no agents are online to take web messaging in the moment, you can certainly kind of configure it that way to act differently based upon specific parameters as well.
Yeah, awesome. Sam, do you have a couple questions coming in now?
Go ahead.
We have an attendee ask, are analytics included with these different chat features?
Yeah, great question. So the Genesys Cloud platform has 3 licensing tiers, right? 1, 2, and 3. 1 being pretty much voice only, right? Tier 2 bringing in those media channels, and then Tier 3 bringing in workforce management and speech and text analytics. So if you have a full GC3 license, you can utilize speech and text analytics, sentiment analysis, and all the great things that come with that as well.
Excellent. Then one more question, Sam. We have someone asking, can attachments be sent on WhatsApp and Messenger?
Yes. Yep. So you can, I believe it's PNGs, JPEGs, and GIFs can be sent.
Excellent. Well, perfect, Sam. Really great information today. I think, a lot of good engagement, a lot of good questions out there. And for all the attendees, if you do have any further questions or want to talk through, what Genesys Cloud could do for you or for your organization, or maybe you've got a Genesys Cloud instance already and want to get more out of it, please feel free to contact us via our website. We've got our number on there. We've got, contact@inflowcx.com if you prefer email as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Austin. And like you said, it's really about getting the most of your platform and of your license, right? So you may have access to these things today, and if you feel like you could utilize them, go ahead and contact us, and we'll kind of walk through what are kind of the next best steps and the best way to utilize these media types.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.